Manchester United have held initial talks with Red Bull Salzburg over the availability of winger Nene Dorgeles. But who is Dorgeles and how is it evidence of a new Manchester United transfer strategy and approach in the market? Well, let me explain it for you, because this is certainly the work of Christopher Vivell, who is likely to soon have the title of United's first ever Director of Recruitment. While we're waiting for United to move for a left wing back, maybe get Rashford out, Casemiro out, bring in a new attacker, let's have a conversation about Nene Dorgeles, not Dorgeles, as I said in the intro there. And I want to speak about this new shift in transfer strategy that I spoke about in the summer, and we're starting to see it, because it's about unearthing rough diamonds and turning them into gems, and also making Manchester United a far more sustainable football club. Both of those two things we need to do. But let's run through it. I'll tell you a little bit about him and about the strategy and the breadcrumb trail to identify where the strategy is coming from. Now, this is Nene Dorgeles, who until yesterday was not linked with Manchester United until Fabrizio Romano threw his name into the hat, said that United have already had initial conversations. Is he available in January? How much would he be? This isn't a video to say that we are definitely going to be signing him, but in terms of who he is as a player, a quick brief overview. He is somebody who plays on the left-hand side. You can have a look at his heat map here so far this season in the Austrian Bundesliga, heavily on the left-hand side. And in the last 3 games in the Austrian Bundesliga, he's got 2 goals, 2 assists, played PSG in the Champions League, but didn't really do much in that game. This is who United have been linked with. And if you look at our academy and the players coming through on that right-hand side, whether it's, Ibrahimov doesn't really play on the right-hand side. You've got Shea Lacey on the right-hand side. You've got Bendito Mantato. There's a lot of strength and depth and quality on the right-hand side, not too much on the left, which may be why we're slightly looking at him. But the interesting part about Nene Dorgeles is when you look through the links back to United through Chris Vivell. Now, he signed the contract extension with them back in September time. So sod knows what the price would be. It was kind of not really part of the point. The conversation needs to be around Chris Vivell, who we brought in last summer to help with recruitment. And I believe his job title at that point was Director of Global Talent. Now, he was in a variety of roles at Red Bull, from head of scouting back when they signed Amadou Haidara, who is Malian, and that's something I should have mentioned at the start there, really. Nene Dorgeles is from Mali, and this is where the links go together and where the strategy can be seen. Amadou Haidara, I think, was the first Malian that Red Bull Salzburg signed, and Chris Vivell was the head of scouting when that happened. And big up to Luca. I want to tell you a little bit of story about Luca. I remember seeing this tweet a while ago when I was doing research. Can't remember who we were. I think it was Sekou Kone we were signing. And I found this, and I dropped Luca a message, and Luca's now actually part of the research team here at United People's TV in a sort of paid position. Big up to Luca. But Salzburg have got a long-standing history and links with signing players from Mali and Guedars FC. You can see there's a signing there, there's a signing there. And this is where the link gets interesting. So Nene Dorgeles was signed by Salzburg from Guedars FC, which is the exact same academy in Mali that Manchester United signed Sekou Kone from. And that's where Chris Vivell comes in. His links and his contacts with scouting academies out in Africa is something that he did a lot at Red Bull. And has it created a wealth of superstars? Well, Amadou Haidara is a very good example of one of those signings that has massively worked out. And there will be others that don't quite work out. Now Nene Dorgeles is being linked with United. Maybe they can make a profit on him too. But when it comes to United, this shift in strategy of moving away from trying to do some sort of false bravado Galactico. Casemiro, unfortunately, is the worst recent example of this. United panic buying. After the De Jong situation, we need a midfielder. Casemiro, we could probably get him because Real Madrid has signed Tchouaméni. Let's try it, chance it. Well, 70 mil, go on in, can bring him in. It's not a long-term strategy. Now, Diego Leon is a 17-year-old that we have just signed from Cerro Porteño. He flew into Carrington on Monday, met some of the players, and now he's flown back. He'll be joining in the summer officially when he turns 18. Is he guaranteed to be an absolute superstar at United? No. But if he is, and we've unearthed the gem, we've got him for the princely sum of somewhere between £3 and £6 million. Now, United have been stung. When it comes to fixing our transfer strategy, it comes from 2 places. mainly. Number one, making your big signings count. Hit the bullseye. I hate to refer to it again, but it's a great example of when Liverpool signed Alisson and Van Dijk. When they had a team that was ready for players of those quality, boom, they completed their team. But as well as hitting the bullseye on the big signings, it's about not missing out on other signings. Well, I got a photo of Erling Haaland there. Solskjaer recommended we signed him twice from Mulder. And I've said this quite a lot here on this channel, the problem at United has never really truly been about the data that we have and the scouting that we're doing. It's about the people who act on that data. Haaland, we missed out on. Moises Caicedo was another player that we could have signed. I'm not sure where he was playing in Ecuador before Brighton signed him for a couple of million. Both of those two could have been signed for a combined fee of less than £10 million. Haaland and Caicedo. It makes you sick to think about it. But this is something that this link feeds into. Now, Nene Dorgeles is 22, so he's actually a little bit different. And I'm slightly confused in that sense. But this is all the work of Chris Vivell. The breadcrumb trail is really easy and obvious to put together. He will be tasked with being that director of global talent, with finding another Haaland, with finding another Caicedo, and making sure that United don't need to go to the market and buy these players for 70, 80, 90 minutes, because we will not do that. I've said it quite a few times on this channel now as well. I don't expect Manchester United to make a signing worth more than £50 million for a couple of summers at the very least. So I'm not surprised to see more links with players from Mali and more links to the Red Bull circle. That is Chris Vivell using his own contacts list and what he did to pretty good effect at Red Bull Salzburg. Now, what worked at Red Bull Salzburg won't necessarily work at Manchester United. The scale is completely different. But you've got this lad here, Diego Leon. I want to see United sign more players from South America, sign more youngsters. I truly believe that nailing that strategy, and I've already done a big in-depth video on this in the summer, so this is more of a follow-up, because we're seeing it in action. I said that this was the shift in strategy, and here's more evidence of it. It's good to know that United have actually, got a connected thinking process right now. Now, if you could, lads, could you go to the January market and, sign a left wing back and maybe sign another attacker? I mean, that would be pretty nice. Don't know how much we can actually afford, but if we can move on Casemiro and the likes, and this is a shift to a new strategy where some of these aren't going to work out. But look, even if Diego Leon doesn't work out, we will be able to sell him and sell him for a profit and with a buyback clause and with a sell-on clause as well. Sustainably, it won't damage us in the same way that Casemiro has hurt us badly. Anthony has hurt us badly. And there's so many other examples. It's just, I find this quite interesting. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. But whether or not we actually do go on to sign Nene Dorgeles, the fact that we are linked with him and looking at him, it's a continuation of this strategy. You let me know what you think.